On the left-hand side, the only elephant that is mostly dry, that's Mai Tai. She's our oldest elephant here. She just celebrated her 42nd birthday, and she weighs about 9,000 pounds. In the middle is Jody. Jody is our youngest and smallest female. She weighs about 8,000 pounds and is 28 years old. And last but not least, on the right-hand side is Shotzi. She's our largest female, weighing almost 10,000 pounds, and she'll be 40 years old. Now, I mentioned that these are female Asian elephants, and you can tell that immediately by just looking at them, because you'll see they do not have any tusks. They are indeed the only species of elephant not to have those tusks. So very easy to identify them from male Asian elephants and African elephants. Speaking of male Asian elephants, he does make up our 4 elephants here. His name is Sabu. He has his own exhibit on the other side of the elephant house. You can stop by there and see him. The reason he has his own bachelor pad is because grown male elephants are very solitary in the wild. They spend most of their adult lives by themselves. The one exception is when they will come in contact with a female that is cycling. They will breed with her, but they are not monogamous, nor will they stick around with that female during her 22-month-long gestation. Now what's really neat is that we have a breeding pair of elephants here at the zoo. There's Mai Tai finally deciding to cool off a little bit. Jody, who is in the middle, she forms that breeding pair with our male elephant, Sabu. So if you were here this morning, you may have actually been lucky enough to see them in together. So she spent the morning with him, afternoon with the ladies. There's no real set schedule or keepers put them together. We are hoping for another elephant calf to be born here at the zoo. We were lucky enough to have one born by Sabu and Jody back in 1999. We haven't had one since, and we're very anxious. We have lots of other zoo babies right now, but it would be pretty neat to have an elephant zoo baby one year. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. Now I mentioned with Asian elephants, African elephants, those are the 2 different species, and they are 2 completely different species. A couple of physical differences between the 2. Obviously we talked about these females lacking those tusks. Another difference is the coloration. So if you look at these elephants, especially on their trunks, their necks, faces, ears, you'll see that lighter pink coloration, actually a lack of pigmentation. And if you look even closer, you'll see those small dots. That's what we like to call elephant freckles. Each Asian oh, here comes Shotzi. So this is always a really big treat for you guys to get to see these elephants splash around in the water. They actually just built the pool up this weekend, so it's probably a little bit chilly, but it must be warm enough, or it's warm enough outside that cold water feels good and refreshing. But now you can really get a good look at those freckles on Jody's trunk. And each Asian elephant is going to have a unique pattern to them, just like we have unique freckles. No one else is going to have the same exact one. Same with these Asian elephants. Now, African elephants do not have that different coloration or that lack of pigmentation. They're one solid color, top to bottom, trunk to tail. Now, we'll talk, since these elephants are having so much fun in the water, we'll talk about these 2 elephants in particular. It is interesting that, oh, there goes Jody, totally submerging herself under the water. So this water is deep enough for them to completely submerge themselves, so they do kind of have to lay on their side. And if you watch closely, sometimes Jody or Shotzi will stay under the water and just kind of hold their trunks up above the water like they're using it as a snorkel. You may also see Jody trying to do a headstand. I witnessed that last year. That was really funny. Only thing that was up above the water was her rump, head, trunk, that was all under the water. They are putting on a really good show for you guys right now. So just like we love to go swimming, right? It's fun. It feels good to cool off in the summer. These are exact same reason these elephants are doing this shot. There she goes. There's her elephant headstand. Elephants are very intelligent animals, so it's really great to give them lots of enrichment opportunities. Enrichment is just a big fancy zoo word for having fun. So it's something different, giving all of our animals an opportunity at enrichment, whether it is giving them access to a pool to swim in. If you look around their exhibit, you'll also see they have that log. They love to swing it around with their trunks. Enrichment can also be giving an animal different food that they don't get normally, putting in different smells. Sometimes they'll even use perfumes to put different smells in their exhibit or their enclosure so they can kind of experience something new. He brought his camera on the right day. Maybe he planned this. He convinced the elephants to put on a good show so he could get good footage of it. So it looks like Shotzi was able to grab some leaves to munch on. Elephants are herbivores. They eat plant-based foods. And you can imagine if you weigh 8, 9, 10,000 pounds and all you're eating are fruits and vegetables, you're probably going to have to eat a lot of them to fill yourself up. That is absolutely the case. An grown elephant can easily eat over 300 pounds of food a day. Now our elephants don't have to eat quite that much because what we're giving them is so nutritious. In the wild, these elephants would be eating a lot of grasses, leaves, bark, trees, fruits off of the top of the trees. They use that trunk to their advantage. It looks like Jottie's trying to dunk Shotzi into the water. Looks like she's pretty successful for right now. I know better than to try to talk over these elephants when they're being really entertaining. That's what you guys are here for, not to listen to me, but to watch them. We get that question actually a lot if the elephants do play with that ball. So we'll see. Yeah. Jottie's finally putting it to good use. But you may see Shotzi, like I said, she's kind of trying to reach those trees and those leaves around the pool. I think these elephants are really used to being when they come up in the pool at 2 o'clock. A lot of times the keepers are up here tossing food in them just to try to coax them in. Animals do everything on their own schedule, so if you want them in the pool at 2 o'clock, one way to kind of guarantee that, or at least set yourself up for a good chance of them being up here, is to feed them. So that may be part of the reason why they're kind of looking around. Hey, I'm up here, but where's my food? When we're talking about their diet, here at the zoo they get fed a mixture of timothy hay, grain, and lots of fresh produce, apples, bananas, sweet potatoes, carrots, and melon, just to name a few. They do get snacks, just like we eat snacks throughout the day to kind of keep them entertained and not get bored of eating the same thing for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Some of those snacks may include, she heard me almost say the P word, which is peanuts. She is very excited for some peanuts. They'll also eat herbivore crackers, herbivore biscuits. Are you guys all this excited when you get to jump into the pool for the first time in the summer? Yeah. So that is Shotzi making the trumpeting sound. What's really, really special is that each of these elephants kind of have their own signature sound that they make. That is being one of the more impressive sounds. And she's the only one that does trumpet. What is really special is that that's actually can be put on a command. So if the keepers were ever out here and wanted her to show off for you guys and make that sound, they can just kind of say that trumpet and she will do that. Now Jottie, if you were listening closely, it sounded like she kind of wanted the trumpet but doesn't really know how. So it's more of her just kind of blowing air through her trunk, like someone that's trying to play the trumpet but doesn't know how. Jottie also, along with that blowing sound, makes a sound that's almost rivals the trumpeting, and it's really best described as a bellowing or a roar. And you're probably thinking, elephants don't roar? What is she talking about? Well, they do, and it is very, very, very impressive to hear. She usually does it when she's in with the male, and it's kind of her way of telling him she's kind of had enough. If he's picking on her or taking her food from her. They're stealing the show today. Sorry. So she can roar. And last but not least, Mai Tai, she will make a squeaking sound. Elephants They're very intelligent. They also have very, very strong bonds with one another. In the wild, female elephants live in large herds, and every herd you're going to have a matriarch. Usually that's your oldest elephant because she knows the best places to find food and water. However, in our case, it is our largest elephant, Shotzi, that's the matriarch. So it's kind of fitting that she is the trumpeter, making the loudest sound. But what you saw there was Shotzi was trumpeting and the other elephants were just checking in with her, saying, hey, you're excited. Does that mean we're getting food? Does this mean we should be nervous about something? What's going on? Oh, we're just having fun? Okay, I'll play along with that. And you almost see them like checking in with each other with those trunks. It's really, really interesting. Very interesting relationships. With Jody here, she's the one that's by Shotzi. They tend to spend the most time together. Jody would love to be the matriarch of this herd, but there is absolutely no way she'll ever be able to overpower Shotzi or kind of dethrone her. There is too much of a size difference, as you can see by just looking at them. About 2,000 pounds difference between the two. What's really interesting is the oldest elephant, Mai Tai. She's really kind of the least, she's the most submissive. Even though she's the oldest, she has no interest in trying to be the matriarch or getting in between Shotzi and Jody's little competition. She just is kind of hanging out by herself. So it's not uncommon that if they're in the pool splashing around, she may be the one out hanging out. Yep, there they are. So showing off again, it's play, but it's also kind of reinforcing that social structure, right? Yeah. A little healthy competition. Does anyone have any questions? You guys just, man, you picked the right time to come and watch. Yeah, so they just filled the water up this weekend. It took maybe 4 days to fill this up. And you know, it's one of those things, right? You haven't had water since last October. You haven't been able to go to the pool since last October. So, oh my gosh, the first time in, it's so exciting. But then in the middle of the summer, it's like, oh, we really want to go to the pool today. We've been there, we've done that. It's kind of boring. Any other questions? Which one's which? All right. So the one that is nice and dry on the land, that is Mai Tai. She's our oldest elephant, 42 years old. Mai Tai, because of her amazing personality, kind of was talking about her being really submissive. She was perfect to take off ground, and she's got to do some really neat things over her lifetime here at the zoo. She's been here since she was just about 3 years old. She got to be a part of an opera. She has walked in the opening day parades of the Reds throughout the first pitch. She was actually the elephant that would go to Marge Shotzi's house for her big extravagant parties. Even though Marge Shot did donate money for Shotzi, it was Mai Tai that would kind of make those appearances just because she was very well, she did very well in those being taken off grounds and all that. And she does paint. Yes, she is an artist. If you guys absolutely love elephants, you can do a special behind the scenes and you actually get a one-of-a-kind painting from Mai Tai. She will paint right there with you and then you get to help give her a bath. Yep, there goes Shotzi, trying to steal some of those leaves. So Shotzi is the one, like I said, that right now is trying to steal those leaves. You can tell her apart. She is the largest. Jody in the middle using the restroom. It makes us really, really gross to us, but guess what? These elephants don't care where they go because they're not the ones cleaning up after themselves. It's usually the keepers. But in this case, don't worry. This pool is made for an elephant with that in mind, knowing they're going to do just that, use the restroom. So it has a fantastic filtration system in it. You come back in a couple of hours, you won't see any of that waste floating around. So Shotzi's the largest on the left. She'll be 40 years old. Jody's in the middle. She's the smallest. She also has the most noticeable amount of the hair on her forehead. They all have hair, but for whatever reason, she's kind of got the most of it, and it is a little bit, she's a redhead. And she also has really kind of light brown golden eyes, whereas the other elephants have very dark eyes. You almost can't see them. But with Johnny, if you're able to see them, you can even see the whites of her eyes. So a couple differences in being able to tell them apart. Mai Tai, if you look at her from the back, she doesn't have a lot of hair on her tail. That's one easy way to tell her apart from the back. From the front, she just got a very kind of rounded body type compared to the other elephants. And if one's by herself, it usually is Mai Tai. Any other questions?
Oh, look at that.
Well, I will stick around. This is so much better than doing actual work, so I will stay here as long as I can. So keep the questions coming. If you want to go check out other things at the zoo, there's still lots of great encounters going on. You can check all those times and locations on the map. We do have some zoo babies. If you haven't seen already, we have 3 lion cubs to check out. We have 10 painted dog pups out on exhibit with mom and dad. We have meerkats. Finally, we have meerkats. If you've been a member, you probably have been promised meerkats for the past couple years. They're finally here. They're getting used to their exhibit, so they may spend a lot of time hiding, but hopefully they'll make an appearance. Have a wonderful day. Glad that these elephants were entertaining and put on a good show for you. Enjoy the rest of your visit at the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden. And like I said, if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, you do have teeth.
Right.
In the giraffe exhibit, you know where the giraffe neck is? So if you go down that ramp, that will take you to Africa. And it's the lion exhibit is in between